Welcome Genshin friends back to February's Spiral Abyss Guide. It's your boy Josh, and this one is special because this is my birthday month. So make sure to come by Twitch or just comment down below happy birthday. That would make my day. But without further ado, y'all are here for the comprehensive Floor 11 and Floor 12 guide to Genshin's 4.4 Spiral Abyss. Now this abyss starts quite slow, and to be honest, Floor 11 is even easier than usual. Will that forebode an easy Floor 12? We'll have to wait and see. Or you could just click on the timestamp in the description. I should have at least one set up for y'all so you can jump around when you need to. Before we begin our floor guide breakdown, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Also make sure to save these Abyss guides if you ever need to reference them for your own runs. Floor 11 is really not that difficult except if you're truly depraved of any Anemo units. On the second half, you'll be running into a plethora of slimes, so making sure that you have an Anemo unit such as Sucrose, Kazuha, or Venti to help group and cut them down, and it'll make your run just so much easier. The first half, I'll be honest, we can recommend anything. There are no limitations nor bottlenecks that you'll need to account for. Just hit them really hard. And for the second half, again, we just mentioned the Anemo characters. However, there is an enemy we will need to slightly plan for, and that is the Mirror Maiden. She returns 2 times for a total of 3 appearances within the last half of the 3rd floor, so be cautious. For a little context as well, the Floor 11 mobs will be like so. To be honest, there's very little gameplay mechanics that you'll have to take into account. However, understand that the first half of Chamber 2 will have you potentially needing shields. You can simply pick up a crystallized shard to generate a shield for when they do their charge attack. They even prompt you for when it's going to happen, so it's quite hard to miss. And for the Mirror Maiden fight, what's going to make it easy on you is positioning yourself outside of the ring. Just like you're a boxer and playing the outside. Just have her positioned in between yourself and the middle of the playing field, such that when she teleports, and she won't be going to the edge, isolating herself and the rest of the mobs, like what happens here on my alt account run. Now let's move to Floor 12, and let's be honest, this is more annoying than difficult. We've seen every single enemy within these chambers before, and we'll be going over their mechanics to make each fight a cakewalk for you. Just as an overview, the pain points of this abyss are definitely the 2 snakes, the mechanical turd snake and the Weedee's nuts. Bring teams, like so, to help you run through these devastatingly patient-inducing fights. Burst comps are highly suggested, however, if you do not have a proper investment into energy recharge throughout your team, you're gonna find yourself not bursting and just waiting around while they mock you for your lack of energy. First half of the Floor 12 Chamber 1, we are having 2 construction specialist mechs who utilize cryo at the end of their crane arms to swing and hit you. Make sure to dodge, or else not only will you get hit with damage, you'll be slowed as well. The next wave shows us 2 of the big balls in the form of the Breacher Primus. And these 2 are quite nasty in that they'll use shards that float around them to absolutely decimate your active character. Make sure to deal with these Dendro shields with Pyro or Electro. Those are the 2 most effective elements. And when the shields are gone, they will go into a vulnerable state in which you're able to burst them down. One very easy tip to run through these 2 without having to struggle against the auto-targeting of the stone shards is that you can always save the burst or ultimate attacks for their iframes for when they go into their flurry state. And if you really don't have any ultimates during those periods, after your first rotation, let's say, just swap to your character with the most HP. Characters like Neuvillette, Furina, Xianyun, Zhongli, etc. are great candidates for just absorbing damage with their supposed high HP investment if you built them correctly. Next, Chamber 1 Part 2 that hosts the first of the 2 snakes, the Chasm's Ruined Serpent. This boss has not been updated in terms of its HP pool, and it will be quite easy if you haven't updated your roster to include the new age characters. But let's get back to the fight. The Ruined Serpent has a few attacks and rotations, none of which are more annoying than just it burrowing into the ground. So make sure you're taking advantage of certain windows. One of my favorite attack patterns to spot is the Hyper Beam. Onyx will go into a ranged offensive, shooting this very menacing looking beam. However, it will hit nothing as long as you stay close and dodge diagonally, or pass its field of view, by which you'll have 8 to 10 seconds to deal as much damage as possible. As well, the Serpent will go into an enraged state, swirling and encircling you. However, just use an AoE or an attack/ability with good height. Bennett is a great example of this, as his ability technically has a high vertical range of effect, and thus you'll be able to break the serpent out of that state and hit it with all you got. Chamber 2 Part 1 races back to Sumeru with a few of the bandits and eremite mommies. The first pair are pretty harmless, and as long as you have any form of CC or AoE damage, you should clear them proper. The second wave has the two wives with Dendro and Pyro. If you're not careful, they will be able to deal large damage numbers to you, so make sure to dodge their cage ability and just wail away at their larger than expected health pools. Chamber 2 Part 2 brings us back to the desert caves with Nut, the Anemo snake. This guy is even worse than the Ruined Serpent, showing itself less and being slightly more annoying to target. 70% of the time, it will be squirming around, only showing half of its body, and if you do more damage to it, it will quickly resort to its enraged charge state, by which a bow character is quite desired here. I utilize Yelan to swirl the Anemo balls and break the Nut stance, thus rendering it unable to battle for 8 to 10 seconds. Enough to get a full rotation if you are patient enough to build up to it. Other than that, this monster has less rotations than the Ruined Serpent, so it's quite easy to spot its attacks. Chamber 3 in its entirety is the easier chamber, thank God. Part 1 only has a few specialist mechs, which you can run through with any comp. Then moving into Part 2, we have the Aeon Blight Drake, a fearsome foe unless, again, you bring a bow character. Utilize the charge shot in order to hit their weak spots, the circles on the two wings. As well, there comes to a point in the rotation, I believe, that the belly also becomes a weak spot, but generally if you're aiming to 36 star, you shouldn't be getting that far into the bag of tricks where the chicken would pull it out. When it gets into the ground form, it will perform several stomping attacks and go into its bird form after around 2 variations of its offensive attempts. Be sure to have that bow character ready in order to strike at those points yet again. Or there have been instances with Yaimiko's turrets that you'll still be able to strike at its weak points, but don't rely on them to be consistent ways to defeather the mech. And that's about it. This abyss is a lot less painful than previous iterations, speaking from a technical standpoint. The only thing I can see coming up are issues with team building and such, which are always fixable and can be addressed. If you have any questions, as you saw earlier, a few clips were taken from my Twitch channel. Feel free to swing by so that you can ask any questions, and I also clear Abyss and provide account review help to subscribers, so make sure you head over there when you have the chance. Link in the description. But with that, hopefully you all are gaming humbly. GENSHIN 4.4 has so much content, and I'm excited for you to explore it all and get yourself 36 stars. My name is Josh, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Happy abyssing.